Welcome to the hottest destination for all things sports betting. I'm Bain, and this is Bain's Best Bets, presented by Always the Hook Sports Network. Whether you're a seasoned sports bettor or just getting started, you've come to the right place. We eat, breathe, and live sports betting, and we're here to help you beat the odds and make lots of cash. Bain's Best Bets is a weekly show where I give you my 3 to 5 best bets against the spread in the NFL. To recap week 1 of the NFL season, we went 4-0, not losing a single game last week. The Rams, Ravens, and Falcons were all 3 non-sweat bets, while the Titans held on to cover the spread, only losing by 1 point. We need to try and stay hot this week, and I have 3 games for you to try and accomplish that. To start off week 2, I have the Green Bay Packers minus 1.5 on the road at the Atlanta Falcons. To say the Packers impressed me week 1 would be an understatement. They looked phenomenal. I understand the Chicago Bears were the worst team in football last season, but man, the Packers seem to not miss a step to start the season. Green Bay's defense looks in mid-season form, racking up 4 sacks and forcing 2 turnovers. To me, I do not see how the Falcons score with the Packers. Jordan Love was a pleasant surprise, throwing for over 240 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not to mention the Packers still have a great 1-2 punch in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Keep an eye on if Aaron Jones is active. He had a hamstring issue late in the week 1 matchup. Even if he is out, I still love the Packers in this game. I just wanted you to know that if you were thinking about placing a bet on this game, if Jordan Love can play within himself and let his running backs run and his defense play defense, they should not have a problem this weekend. On the flip side, Desmond Ridder left a lot to be desired, throwing for only 115 yards. He was aided mainly by his running backs, who had a combined 25 carries, and his defense, who forced 3 turnovers. The Packers will not beat themselves and turn over the ball like rookie Bryce Young did. I believe the very strong defense of the Packers will give Ridder lots of fits, maybe even force some turnovers, and will be able to slow down the superb rushing attack from the Falcons due to their beefed-up defensive line with Kenny Clark manning the middle along with their experienced linebackers. Jair Alexander is still one of the very best cornerbacks in the league and will have Desmond Ridder seeing ghosts. To add, the Atlanta Falcons have historically not been good against the spread, having a 4-8 record the last 12 games. This is a great matchup for the Green Bay Packers, and I think they will cover the 1.5-point spread on the road in Atlanta. Next up on the slate, I'm taking the Denver Broncos to cover the 3.5-point spread at home versus the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders barely beat, in my opinion, the worst team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. Their offense looked pedestrian. Sam Howell was sacked 6 times and had 2 turnovers. This Denver Broncos defense is levels above the Cardinals, and I see them holding Commanders to a very low production game. I do not see how they move the ball versus the Broncos at any consistent pace. Kind of how I think the Packers defense will be tough for Desmond Ridder to decipher. I feel like the same thing will happen to Sam Howell. In the last 6 games, the Commanders are 1-5 ATS. I understand that goes back to last year, but to me, this year's team is very similar to the Washington Commanders of last season. The Denver Broncos feel like a whole new team. A big part of this game for me is the better coach, and better overall roster is going to be too much for the Commanders to overcome. I realize the Broncos lost week 1 to the Las Vegas Raiders, but Russell Wilson had flashes of the Russ of old. I think Sean Payton has done good to the Broncos team, and I trust them to get it done versus the Washington Commanders and covering the 3.5-point spread. Third and final game on the slate for week 2 of the NFL season is the Chicago Bears getting 2.5 points traveling down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a very good buy low spot on the Bears after they got blown out by the Packers. The public was very high on the Bears before the season, and many people will look at their performance last week and head the other way. I think they just had a tough matchup week 1. Justin Fields is still very explosive and can put up points against a Buccaneers team who is hit or miss for me. The Buccaneers, since Todd Bowles took over the defensive play calling, have historically been very aggressive defensively, sending lots of pressure off the edge. I think that this will be beneficial to Fields with him being explosive and dynamic with his feet. Fields made ultra-aggressive defenses pay for bringing extra bodies last year, torching the likes of Miami and Detroit for 178 and 132 rushing yards, respectively, in 2022. His PFF grades versus the blitz show an expected decline in passer metrics, but his rushing numbers in those spots are almost off the chart. Baker has never been a consistent QB, and I think will struggle to put back-to-back good games together. He finished the Week 1 game with 173 yards, averaging just 5 yards per attempt against a suspect Vikings defense. Tampa Bay went into Minnesota and shocked the world in Week 1. I think this is a letdown spot for them, That is why I am taking the Chicago Bears plus 2.5 points in Tampa Bay. That's all for this week on Bain's Best Bets, presented by Always the Hook. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe and like the video. Comment down below your lock of the week or what you thought of my bets this week. Thanks for watching and happy betting.